I don't know. I mean, somebody brought it up. There's nobody out there on that team yesterday that could just take on a guy. I mean, we saw Johnson do it on the left wing a couple times, but generally, nobody. I mean, we need Landon Donovan. That's what people want to bring Landon back from wherever he is. I hear rumors are he's in the Boreal Forest region of Alberta, Canada, dressed up, like a mountain man, hunting and living in a log cabin, and just finding himself. Time maybe to kind of track him down. And I just, Landon, a lot of people say, oh, whatever, we can do it without him. I don't know. Imagine Landon Donovan on that right wing instead of EJ. And then later instead of Zusi. Guys who, Zusi and Kleshin, looked like they were not ready for prime time at all when they came in. At all. They did not look ready. And sure, you can say, well, we need them to get that experience. Well, okay, that's fine. But not right now. Not in an away game in Honduras, the beginning of the Hex, that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the qualifying. I don't know.
I tend to bag on Breck Shea's inconsistency, but I will say that I miss his ability to at least try to take on his defender.
Yeah.
And you saw. The funny thing was, I was at Chat and Tap watching the game with Josh Mason.
Yeah.
And it's like every time Kleshin got the ball, he tried to do something and he would get stuck.
Yep.
He'd try to do it again and he'd stuck. It's like it wasn't working. And like you said, it just doesn't seem like he's there for whatever reason. He can do well with his club team.
Well, he doesn't play that position with his club team.
That's the other thing, too. Some players have been just put in a position to fail. Playing Jones as did the official lineup say Williams was a right mid?
Yeah, but he didn't play. He did, but he didn't play right mid. Williams.
No. Jones played more of a quote-unquote right mid. He played it more of a right central midfielder.
Yeah, later in the second half, he moved further out right, but yeah.
But, it seems to me that trying to get all these, these Chiefs and is putting them in a position to fail. We just don't have we just need some players who actually play the position, bring Breck Shea back in, bring Joshua Gott back.
Yeah.
I know he didn't have a great game against Canada, but you know what? He would have offered speed, and he actually plays the position.
He's a winger. Imagine that. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine going out and getting wingers to play the wing. Yeah. Listen, if you're going to force feed the United States men's national team, Jurgen Klinsmann, to play your formation and your style and your tactics, then at least go out and get guys that can do it, or at least do it better than guys that really play a whole different position for their club teams. Don't force something. And that's the thing. You know what? And I had this discussion with Simon Allen. You know what? There are two things going on here. In the Bob Bradley days, Bob Bradley said, who are my best players and what formation could we play for those players to fit into the roles they're most best at? And then you get Jurgen Klinsmann who says, here's my style, here's my formation, here's what we're going to do, and I don't care if I have the players to do it. I'm going to force this to happen because it's going to, evolve. It's going to change American soccer. I understand that, but how many times does that really work?
Well, yeah, this all boils down to the original argument many of us made when Klinsmann first came here and was trying to do this from the get-go. You don't start it with the senior squad. I don't care if you have a year and a half, 2 years, or whatever. You have players who are 22 to 34,
Right.
These players are set in their ways. They may learn a couple new tricks here and there, but they're not going to ultimately change. You got to start it with the youth. You got to start it at the younger levels and work your way up once those players get there, and then you can change it.
Right.
But we simply, you can't just say, okay, I know you've been playing this style your entire life. I know you've been playing a very physical game, very active game, but we're going to change it to where we're going to calm down. We're going to make some passes. We're going to push the ball up the field and keep possession and go from there.
Yeah.
You can't make that quick of a change.
No, you
at
can't.
The senior level, and it's going to hurt us in the end.
Yeah, and it is. And I mean, you don't knock on Eddie Johnson's door and say, "Hey, Eddie, I know you've played forward your whole life, striker. I'd like you to play a right mid-winger position. I know you can't cross the ball worth a ding-dong, but you know what? We're going to force this sucker down your throat, and we're going to make you play this way." Yeah, it's just it's just a little odd. And then on top of that, we had some people when the Charlie Davies article came out by Jonah Freeman today. The kind of what if Charlie Davies never was in that accident and never drank and put himself in that situation and was completely evolved into the player we all thought he would be. God, wouldn't that be the solution? And then there were people who actually said, we call him up. Call him up. Hello, folks. Charlie Davies has played 12 games for Randers. Hasn't scored a goal. And prior to that, of course, Sochaux played him, twice when he came back to France. Prior to that, he played for DC United and scored a good chunk of his goals from the free kick spot, the penalty kick spot. Mm-hmm. He did not look like the Charlie Davies of old. He lost his not so much his speed, but his ability to change directions on a dime. That was gone. And it's not coming back. I wish I was wrong. If I were wrong, I would say, thank God I am wrong. But Charlie Davies is not the same guy. He's not going to come back. And if he does, he's not going to look the same. Anyhow.
No, I can't agree more. When you go through such a traumatic experience and you physically just can't do the things that made you as talented as you were, I mean, you can't expect it. And at this point, calling up a player who's not performing at the club level, at a lower club level than the rest of our strikers, our striker pool, why would you do it?
Yeah.
At this point, I think what Klinsmann needs to figure out is to bring back the width. We really do.
Yeah.
That's the case. We've made this argument the entire show. Bring back the width. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean true touchline strikers or wingers. But even under Bob Bradley with Dempsey and Donovan, they played, quote-unquote, the winger role, even though they pinched in to the center a lot.
Yeah.
But they still offered that outside option,
Even under Arena, under Bruce, we had that wing action going, with Beasley. And
these were with players that were, pretty much all MLS-based anyways, and we were still performing at that point.
And Surfer dude.
Maybe we need to start looking at some of the MLS American-based wingers.
Well, you know what we do? Davis is no speedster, but I can tell you this: give him a foot, give him a yard, and he will cross the ball on a dime to someone's head. I mean, let's take advantage of what we're good at. What we're good at is we got some big, tough guys like Altidore, like Dempsey. These guys are physical players. They find a way into the box. You chuck it in the box, and guess what? Something good might happen. You don't have to dribble the ball into the goal. It's not necessary.
Look at our goal against Honduras.
Yeah.
It was a 20-yard chip over the defense, and Dempsey had a nice little side volley over the keeper.
Yeah, and
it was a great shot.
Direct ball. Oh, my God. Who passed that? Was that Jermaine Jones?
That was Jones, yeah. It was one of his few moments of the game.
Best pass of the day. He could have used 2 or 3 or more of those, and we would have been fine. In the old days, I think Bob Bradley would have probably, after going up 1-0 away, probably gone to a 4-1-1 and just sealed the deal. Just said, hey, beat us. We're going to put 10 guys in front of the ball. Good luck. I'm okay with that. There's no need. There was no need to go after a second goal. And it's boring. Okay. But you know what? We qualified for the World Cup. Not that we're not going to now. It's just
number 1 of the Hex, too. Qualified at the top of the Hex.
That's right. And I guarantee you we're not going to qualify at the top of the Hex this time with what I personally believe is a better options for players. I think.
Could you imagine Bradley's 2010 World Cup qualifying cycle with Timmy Chandler as a backup to Trundolo, and then actually having a left back option in Johnson?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that alone right there speaks crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, we're playing Spectre at left back quite a bit, and we played Bornstein.
Peters, Bornstein.
I mean,
even a little bit of Castillo in there, but not much.
I mean, we're talking about quality difference there between the quality that Fabian Johnson has and the quality of guys that Bradley had to pick from at the time. We have the best. We had no Jones. I mean, people brag on Jones constantly. I'm sick of it. Jones is a fantastic player. He's a anybody want to watch a Schalke match this year? I mean, they're at the top of the table, right? They're competing for a Champions League spot, and he's one of the main reasons they're doing so. Altidore is scoring goals left and right for Aze. Listen, it's Klinsmann's job to take players of that quality and create a system where they flourish, and he's not doing it. So it's not that we don't have excellent quality players. We have them, and they're succeeding with their clubs. They're not succeeding with Jurgen Klinsmann. That's his job. His job.
Well, I mean, and here's my point. I mean, I'll use Jones as an example. Ultimately has played more of a defensive mid type position with his club. And how is he used with Klinsmann?
Yeah,
more of an attacking center mid type position.
Brett, here's the thing about Jones. Jones does play that more right in front of the four position, that sort of defensive midfield position for Schalke. But here's the thing with Schalke. Schalke has the ability to counterattack on a dime. Jones
we do too.
Jones is an amazing counter-attacking player. He really is very good at that. He can play that role in front of Williams, but we don't ask him to. We don't tell him to. We don't tell Bradley and Jones, push the ball up the field, take advantage of the openings before the defense has a chance to set its feet back there. We aren't. That's not what we're asking them to do. We're asking them to possess the ball and gently and magnificently pass it around and until there's an opening. And then take advantage of that opening with an awesome pass, maybe a 6-yard pass inside the box to somebody who's open. Okay. Well, that's the reason Jones doesn't see. It isn't that Jones couldn't play that role. He could play that role.
Oh, no, yeah.
It's just that he's not asked to play that role, that counterattacking role.
I'm just saying pushing him further up the field in this setup is taking away one of his biggest attributes.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
One thing we're missing right now in this U.S. squad is we're missing bite. And at the beginning of that Honduran game, he set the tone immediately.
Yeah.
And then it just drifted off because he never really recovered he was never playing much defense. He was always pushing up and towards the attack.
Yep.
We just lost it.
Yep. We pushed Jones out right in the second half. Then we took him out and replaced him with a guy like Zusi who looked lost. And then you replace Williams with a do. What's the point of that? What really seriously?
Well, Williams was playing like shit, so.
Yeah, well, okay. Then move Jones back to that position.
There you go.
And replace Williams with someone. If you're going to bring in Kljestan, put Kljestan in that position in the middle. If you're going to have to bring in Kljestan, do that. So you have Jones playing in front of the back four, and then you have Bradley and Kljestan playing in more natural positions. Don't put Kljestan out on the left wing where he's completely clueless.
Well, and the funny thing is that people will come out and say that, hey, even Bradley played him at left mid or right mid or whatever. But the thing is that his setup with the wingers aren't necessarily played like wingers.
Futility.
And whether or not he would succeed at this level at the center mid, I don't know.
I don't know either, but at least give him a shot doing something he's used to doing. Otherwise it's an exercise of futility. I mean, you're just going to end up having Kljestan giving a great through ball to the other team, as he did. Great through ball. It was an awesome pass to the other team going the other direction.